Hello everyone, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you CSS3 Transitions, and it would be helpful if you checked out my previous CSS3 tutorials where I teach you how to use the border radius, which I use in this one. Even though it's not very important to learn it now, you can do this without learning the border radius. But it would be helpful if you learnt the CSS3 animations tutorial, or the CSS3 animations and the CSS3 2D transforms uh, and transforms tutorial. So I'll put those on the screen that you can click now. And if you want, you can watch them and you will be able to understand a little more of this. So what I've got here is a HTML document, and it's got a body tag with a div, and it's a class of transitions, and here it is. And it's got some very simple transitions, and it's got this one which is border radius, which I spoke about, and it's got a float of left, which just keeps it over here. And you can see here that it's got a slightly less opacity. The opacity is 0.3, and our transition would change it to 1, so that it transitions into full opacity. And it also changes the size and the fill and also the text size. So before I start, I'm just gonna say that CSS3 Transitions is supported only in Chrome, Safari, Opera, and Firefox. Internet Explorer 9 doesn't support this. Chrome and Safari need the prefix WebKit, Opera needs the prefix O, and Firefox needs the prefix Moz. And for each browser, you're going to have to copy and paste the code and just change the prefixes on each one, so change it to O and Moz and WebKit for each browser. Otherwise, it won't work in that specific browser. So let's go back to Microsoft Expression Web 4, and this is a free program from Microsoft, and I will include the link to download this in the description box, and it's now free. It used to be paid for. So first, let's start doing our transition. So I'm just going to do 2 lines, so it's clear where it starts. And as before, WebKit, so this is our prefix, and you're going to have to change this every time you want it to work in a different browser. I'm just going to be doing WebKit because I'm using Google Chrome, as you can see. So WebKit transition transition colon, and I want to change the width, and then next to it you specify how long for, so 1.5 seconds for me, and then you just do a comma for the next one, and height again for 1.5 seconds. Also I want to transform it, and to transform I have to enter WebKit transform, so that's also 1.5 seconds, and background as well for 1.5 seconds, and font size for 1.5 seconds, and finally opacity for 1.5 seconds. And then I don't need to put a comma, but I do need to put a semicolon. So that's the part done for div transitions, and I've done div transitions because it's a div tag, and the class div transitions, you get it by using the period or the full stop and then transitions. So now I'm gonna insert a new selector, and our selector is div.transition, so we can get this same div tag, and this time we have to do :hover. So when they hover over it, we want this to activate. And first I'm going to change the width as we specified over here to 200 pixels, and basically anything you want to change in its style that you want to change here, you have to specify it here. And the reason I have to do WebKit transform is so that so that Chrome can recognize the transform. Otherwise, if you don't, it won't work. And then next I did height. So height, I want 100 pixels. And after that, the WebKit transform. So I have to type in WebKit transform. And this is a simple one, and I just want it to rotate minus 720 degrees, so that this will go anti-clockwise twice in 1.5 seconds, and a semicolon. Also, I want to change its background color from aqua, which is over here, to lime, And the font size, I want to increase it by 250% of what it is now. So whatever it is now, and now it's at 20%, it'll increase it by 250%. So 250% times 20 is 50. So that'll become 50% after 50 pixels afterwards. And finally, I want to change the opacity to 1. And then I'm just going to go and save that and open it in my browser. So now if I refresh and I hover over it, you can see that it does the rotation backwards. It changes the text size, the background color, the height and width, and also it rotates backwards. And as you can see, the opacity is also set to full when it's done. And if you'd like more information on CSS3 transitions, I recommend the W3 School's website, which I will put a link for this in the description box. And here you can learn more about CSS3 transitions and what other things you can do. So thank you for watching my tutorial. Please comment, rate and subscribe. Thank you for watching.